Andy, my drummer, and I had a mutual friend named Andrew, actually, he writes this progressive rock, awesome 9-minute epic, really cool songs. They're really difficult to play. And he was a buddy of ours from songwriting class, and he called me and said, "Dude, I'm putting a band together. Try out to be the keys player." And I said, I'm not. I don't do like keyboard synthesizer stuff. I do just piano. But I did it anyway because he was a buddy of mine. I liked his music, so I said, "Yeah, I'll do it." And I go to this audition. I'm just tanking, just awful, just terrible. I can't play any of his parts, and just really difficult because that's not my thing at all, at all. And the drummer that was trying out was Andy, and Andy was pretty much struggling with it too because it was just really difficult stuff. And so we're leaving and we're walking out there, and I was like, "Hey, what's up, man?" And he's like, "No, not much, and we're just chatting. And he said, "What do you do?" I said, "I write songs." And he goes, "Oh, like what kind of songs?" I said, like piano rock. And he goes, "You want to start a band?" I was like, "Yeah, all right." So basically, if I hadn't gone to a metal band audition and done terrible, I never would have met Andy. So that was a cool thing, and I'm so grateful that I get to work with him because he's unbelievable. And Ellen, I met Ellen. Where Berklee is in Boston, immediately behind Berklee's main building. There's a church, and I went there, and Ellen was playing the guitar in the church band, and so I started talking to her, and she became a good friend of mine, and we spent a lot of time together, and we at some point got talked into doing a Ben Folds tribute band, Ben Folds 5 tribute band that we ended up calling the Ben Folds 4. And we needed guitar for one song, Rockin' the Suburbs, we needed guitar. And I called Ellen and said, "Ellen, come play guitar." She said, "All right." And then basically she never left. She just added her guitar parts to all the songs after that because she didn't want to leave. And that was fun. And then towards the end of the next year, Andy and I were starting to get our group together, and said, "I don't know any good bass players." And Ellen said, "I'll play." And we were like, "Oh, all right." And so she's in, and she's a guitar player, but she's a monster bass player. She's great. She's totally awesome. And it's very, very cool for me to be in that situation where I'm surrounded by people that are better than me. They are both monster musicians, and they basically they force me to keep up with them all the time. And I think that's why we can, work in such an environment where we're so far away and we don't get to see each other a lot and we can still be productive because they are both unbelievably talented people, and it's so cool to be able to work with them. My favorite thing about Andy is that it's tough to narrow it down because besides being my drummer and my producer and my business partner, he's also an incredible friend of mine, and we spent so much time together at school, basically every day. He's just been a great friend. But musically, my favorite thing about him is he's not afraid to tell me when I have a bad idea. He'll be like, "Nope, don't do that, dude," or "No, we're not doing that," or he will override me because he has this great commercial sense about him where maybe it's artistically expressive, but it's not something that it will be successful when you're trying to sell your music to people and make a living doing it. And he has this sixth sense for that. So he'll guide me down the right path sometimes when I'm like, "Oh, I don't know, what do I do?" And he's great for that. He just comes up with some really cool grooves and stuff that because I'm not a drummer, I can't really appropriately come up with, and he'll just go. I'll play him a new song, and he'll go, "Okay, play one more time, I want to try something." And he says, "Play one more time, I want to try something," and I play it again, and then whatever he plays is brilliant. Every time, it's amazing. So, yeah. My least favorite thing about Andy is that he is, and it's not a bad thing at all, he's so passionate about everything. There are sometimes I'm like, "Whatever, dude, whatever." It's like, "No, we're going to do," he has a very strong opinion about stuff, and that's great. It's totally great, but it's funny sometimes because he won't concede his point at all, and I think that stability is welcome in this environment. But it's funny because sometimes it's hard to kind of go, "Okay, we'll come back to that." We're doing a take, and he keeps messing this part up, and I'm like, "Okay, well, let's just do the next song, and we'll come back and do the song, and then try again later." He's like, "No, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna do it right now," and it's funny, but it's I feel frustrated for him when he's in that situation. My favorite thing about Ellen is that she's a goofball. We asked her to be in the group because I have to sit down at the piano, basically, and Andy has to sit down at the drum set. And so when you're in a trio situation, it's hard to keep your stage presence up. And basically it's all on the bass player to move around and be very visually interesting because Annie and I can't move, basically. And she is all over the place. She has... we have never played a gig where she has not jumped off of something, even when we're like in a bar in a corner and there's nothing for her to jump off of. We'll be like, she can't do the jump today because there's nothing, and you'll climb up on a bar stool like halfway across the room and jump off or something. And the thing is, the stages that we're playing are getting bigger and bigger now, and so it's like more unsafe for her to jump off the stage. And like before, it was like a club in Boston and the stage was 3 feet high, and that's fine. But now, like, we're playing bigger venues and music festivals and stuff. I'm like, please don't jump off the stage. I don't want to have to call your mom and tell her that you broke your leg jumping off the stage. She's a goofball, and she really keeps things exciting. My least favorite thing about Ellen is that she's a goofball, and it can be hard to kind of, it's kind of like I'm in a classroom with a bunch of kids, and I'm like, okay, quiet down, here's what's going on. It's hard to kind of put the foot down sometimes and say, we're doing it this way because I said so, and that's it, because she's sometimes so intent on just doing something unconventionally, or trying to play this really weird fill, or trying to get this weird stance. But she just spends so much time on being weird, I think, that sometimes I'm like, okay, Ellen, we need to focus here, And so, I mean, it's a great thing. Again, the guys are hysterical, but sometimes it's tough to be like, all right, moving on, here we go. That is an excellent question. That is a very difficult question. I need to think about that one for a second. I would like to hear them do a rap. And I know that Zhang Fu is generally not doing this in a specific genre, but I studied a little bit of rap, and basically it strips away your melodic elements, it strips away your harmonic elements, it strips away basically everything, and you just have to work with words. And so it really forces you to kind of kick up your rhyming and your phrasing, and basically throws you in a situation where you really quickly need to adapt to this new skill set. And so I think that would be really funny to watch people try to write raps, because it's hilarious. It is hilarious. And when we did it in songwriting class, we had all these like white nerdy kids get up and trying to rap it. It's just hysterical. It's so funny. But it also helps, it really helps your writing. And so I would love to see a lot of this, like Russ. I would love to see Russ do a rap. I think that would just make me giggle. So I would say write a rap song. That would be so fun. I would love that. I'm going to have to go with the Fred video. It's very close. But I'm only saying this because I was not happy with the quality of the vocals on our last album, and so I've decided that I need to be very exacting and very careful about how the vocals sound on this new album, and make sure I really put the time in to make it sound good. But if not for that, I would definitely go with John. Given his lyrical retention skills are similar to mine, if you've seen me live, you know I basically don't know any of my own songs. But I'm going to have to go with the Fred video. I'm probably going to plug my ears and vomit, though. I think Twitter is basically becoming home base for me, so twitter.com/MikeLombardo, that's where the party is. I know it's got links to my YouTube around here somewhere. I'm in the process of redoing my website, so there's not a whole bunch of stuff on there right now, but Twitter is basically the best way to get in touch with me. If you go to Bandcamp, MikeLombardo.bandcamp.com, you can listen to all of my music for free, and a large majority of it is on iTunes as well. So that's, if you're interested in listening, that's where you go. Clearly Spintown. I have been a Spintown fan for a long time, like 2 years probably. Before I started Song Fu, I was into Spintown. And so that's the place to go. I regularly read the blog, and if you do not read Spintown's page, you should start doing it, because there's a lot of talent on that page. There's a lot of good stuff going on. Keep up with it. It's good stuff.